Welcome to the Village of North Hudson Public Works Committee meeting on Tuesday, April 19, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. Item number 1, call to order, roll call, please.
Chair Pike.
Here.
Trustee McGurran. Trustee Merrill.
Here.
Item number 2, approve the minutes of March 22, 2022 and March 29, 2022.
I'll move to approve.
And I'll second it. Any discussion about those minutes?
No.
They look good to me. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed. Item number 3, comments from the floor. This is when we would take comments for things that are not on the agenda if you're here for the public information meeting. But if you're here for something else, okay. Item number 4, public information meeting, Wisconsin Street North project discussion only. Kevin, you taking the lead?
I can do that, sure.
Okay.
All right, so now that we're getting close to the construction of Wisconsin Street, we figured we better just have another public informational meeting. There was an invite that was sent out to all the businesses and the residents that are going to be affected as part of the construction. Looks like we have one gentleman tonight that's in attendance. Jason, he's from Stevens Engineers. He's going to be doing all the construction management, oversight during the construction. And then we have Matt from A1 Excavating. They're the company that's awarded the contract to actually do the construction. They're familiar with the village. They're the ones that did the Highway 35 project last year, so it'll be a good continuity for this particular project also. So just to kind of summarize, I have some exhibits in front of you. So the project limits is from 3rd Street up to 6th Street. It's going to be a total reconstruction, so all of the underground utility, including sewer and water, storm sewer is going to be replaced. The street itself is, the street width is basically going to be the same to what's out there currently. Curb and gutter is going to be redone, and then there's a sidewalk on the north side that is going to get replaced also.
All the way down where it is currently, you're talking about?
Yeah.
And we're not extending it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Some of the things that, you know, the design consultant looked at is making sure everything's ADA compliant. So a lot of the curb ramps are going to be upgraded. The laterals themselves, they'll be replaced, sewer and water up to the right-of-way line. Anything above and beyond that would be the property's owner's responsibility to replace. I did get one phone call from one gentleman, which I referred him to A1 to see if they would entertain at replacing his lateral, because, you know, it's pretty old pipes that are in the area. Doesn't surprise me, there could be some of that Orangeburg pipe. Once you start disturbing that, that stuff has a tendency of actually collapsing. So traffic wise, it's been set up to, you know, be a road closure to through traffic, and that's what this exhibit is showing. And here's our project down on the south side. So through traffic would be closed off, but it'll be open to local. And there'll be a designated detour route, and that's what this is highlighting, this dash line. So basically, to get over on, you know, the west side, like where the Malibu apartments are, they'll have to go all the way up to Summer Street, down to Galleyhead, and around to get into the apartments. Their accesses are, you know, they're not going to be affected because their first driveway is just on the west side of 3rd, and then they have another driveway that's just to the west of that. So, but we do have, you know, the Malibu Inn and the Willow River apartments. I know we've talked before that they're gonna try to minimize the disruptions for those folks. But there will be some period in time where they're gonna have to physically close it down because you have to get the utilities through there. But try to at least keep one access, one driving lane, whether it's on the west side of the intersection or the east side, just to, you know, accommodate their needs. You do have another access point on the eastern side. That's mainly was put in there for fire protection, emergency vehicles.
Oh, right off of 35, you mean?
Yep.
Where you put the flowers and stuff? That's not normally open right there, right?
Correct.
Okay,
During the motorcycle run, we open it.
okay.
But there is another avenue should you need it. There's
Well, I like that idea.
another point that they can get in and out.
So really, if that was opened up, who's really blocked?
Mainly, it's gonna be the Malibu Inn.
Okay,
Yep. But they have 2 driveways in their parking lot, so hopefully we could keep one of those open at all time, you know, when the utilities and things are going through.
so let's just say we're down to the point where they're blocked, if they ask me how long of a period of time will it take before they can get back in? Do you have any idea? And I know it depends on weather, of course, and everything else, but
You're probably looking at it, do I need to speak into that thing?
yes,
Yeah, if
please.
you would, that'd be great. Just
You might as well
anybody
stay up there.
participating.
Depending on how it goes, it's probably gonna be I'd say a day in each driveway, or I mean, or if we, say for instance, as we're progressing from the west to the east with the sanitary, you know, we'll affect the first driveway, we'll try to get that backfilled in a timely manner, you know, as we're going, so we can have that open and still progress through the easterly driveway to keep that open, you know, in conjunction when we're working.
Okay.
Now, however, you gotta remember when we put the curb and gutter in, you know, depending upon how it goes, I don't know, Jason, if you're gonna allow a gap at that one driveway, and then pour the other one through, or what's gonna happen there, you know, for those, and also the driveway going into the apartments. The one on the west end, I don't think you have to worry, because they're gonna have access beyond the job or off the Gallahan Street there.
Right.
So, we'll do the best we can, but at times there could be, you know, if somebody's trying to get in, depending on where we're working, it just might not be feasible.
Okay.
And I wanna interject there, when these guys did the 35 project, there's no, they did everything in a timely manner and the best that they could, so I have no doubt that things will be taken care of, I guess.
Okay.
So the big question is start date. You know, we have a lot of the folks down there have been asking the question, but maybe you wanna just kinda step up and go through your schedule that you're looking at.
And did you say you're running, when you do the utilities, you're gonna go from the west to the east?
The sanitary will go from the west to the east, because that's our, I'll call it our tie-in point,
Okay,
you know, or lowest point.
right.
And then, as of right now, this afternoon, and now this could change with the material shortage out there that everybody's aware of, we don't anticipate to get, valves and/or hydrants until sometime week of May 16th. We're anticipating to start with the sanitary approximately May 2nd. Jason Duce, the project manager, did say that he did want to close it down starting on Tuesday with traffic control. He's got deliveries scheduled Monday to close traffic control. Tuesday, he's got deliveries scheduled. So we want to get, in the times we're in, we want to take, if the material's available, we need to take it. Otherwise, you're the odd man out and you might not get it.
Right. So
So
we're talking next Monday?
the 25th is anticipated right now.
Okay.
And Kevin, after the meeting, I'll talk to Jason probably either tonight or in the morning
Sure.
to confirm that, to make sure that that still is the plan he wants to take, so he can coordinate with you, Kevin, and also you.
Okay. In my understanding, you're not gonna look at actually taking the asphalt off till just prior to your pipe work crew?
I believe so. I think his intent is to take deliveries, probably stage him, I'll call it on the west end of the job, on the south side.
Yep,
So, I mean, it shouldn't really impede anybody, but try to get, I'll call it the through traffic, used to the traffic pattern that's going to be coming into play, which, you know, unfortunately with all them little cross streets down there, if everybody comes down, I mean, they're gonna get shut down,
right,
you know, but it's just the way it is,
yeah.
so.
So, as, you know, as part of the contracts, the project is slated to be done the end of July 28th. And the schedule that you provided as part of the pre-construction meeting meets that deadline.
Okay.
So, nothing like what you experienced last year.
So it could be a little faster or a little slower if we get a bunch of rain. If we get good weather, it could go a little better. Okay.
Yeah. There is one caveat out there that could present a little hiccup in the ending schedule. And, I mean, it depends upon how that gas main down the road, if that ultimately has to be manipulated anyway by XL to be lowered, then I'm gonna say that, you know, time could extend a little bit. Hopefully, we still can meet the anticipated ending date, but, you know, if we don't have control, we can't do much.
Yeah, so that's something that popped up
That,
before.
will that impact the grant at all?
No,
Okay.
no. So that's gonna, you know, whatever modifications that need to take place is gonna be covered by XL.
Okay.
Yep, because some of that gas main that's through there is fairly shallow.
Okay. Where is it in the street?
To the
It-
southern side.
Southern
kinda.
side?
Well, it's in the middle, but
Yeah,
on the south. Where that new asphalt is at,
Yeah.
that's where they
That's
put
it.
the gas
Yeah.
main.
Okay.
The gas main's in the middle of, I'll call it what you'd classify as the eastbound lane on the street,
Okay.
approximately.
Any questions? Anybody else have questions? Comments?
Will the services be interrupted?
Yeah, you need to.
Instead you identify yourself, please, Joe.
Name is John Coos. Just a question about the daily services. Are they gonna be hooked back up daily? Repair a section and then hook up the water sewer again? And then start another section, hook it up, take it out? How's that work?
With the manipulation of the sanitary and the water main's roughly gonna go back in the same trench. So we will have temporary water provided to the residents. I don't know yet if we're gonna pull off of the 6th Wisconsin intersection or the 3rd in Wisconsin intersection, but there will be temporary water laid out. And let's just hope the weather warms up, because we've had a few issues lately with our temporary water, but we shouldn't anticipate any freezing. So the only interruption that will be is when we hook up to the temporary water and when we go back to hooking the new up. If anybody has old pipes, Orangeburg for their sanitary, galvanized for their water, I would strongly suggest you get them replaced now, because eventually you're gonna have a problem.
So if somebody asks that, you know, having heard this, if they ask, will you guys replace it for them, or they gotta get somebody on their own?
The tough thing about that is, in the state of Wisconsin, we can only go 5 feet to the property. So really, you need a licensed plumber, because I'm sure there's other things inside that you're probably gonna have to, you know, redo the water meter and all that stuff. So it'd be better off to have a licensed plumber. We can work with them.
Okay.
You know, I mean, when we bring the lateral in, I mean, he can have that opened up, you know, so then he can, in the past, we've just fed it into him, or he's fed it out to us, and we've hooked onto that, and then life's been good. But that way, it's new from the property line to the main, now it's new from the, I'll call it, pretty much the basement to the main. where
So
you
how
should-
will they know if they have those kind of pipes that you'd recommend?
Unfortunately, you're not gonna know till we go down to find them.
Okay.
I mean, they can look in the basement, you know, sometimes it's typical to see 3/4 copper. That's kind of what I'm anticipating. That's kind of what we found last year, Patrick, I believe, was a lot of 3/4 copper.
Yep.
You know, but if for some reason there's, you know, older stuff, like if it's a galvanized pipe, yeah, it won't leak forever, but as soon as you take pressure off and put pressure back to it, whatever it does, it splits and it deteriorates, and it might not happen right away, or it might happen the next day, it might happen next year.
Okay.
You know, now somebody's got to be out there digging again. You know, granted, I know it's expensive, but on the flip side of it, during construction, it's, you know, it's about the best time to do stuff like that.
So, will you notify them as you go along of what you're finding?
As we go, we'll let Patrick know what we run into.
Okay.
Try to coordinate through him, or, I mean, if somebody comes up to us, say, hey, you know, we want to do this, then we kind of coordinate. If we know the plumber, get us that information so we can coordinate with the plumber, and then we can kind of, you know, manipulate it. Okay, well, I can't get to it till Thursday. Yeah, that's not a problem. You know, or however it's going to work, so it can, you know, be advantage to both parties.
Okay, thank you.
And so the mailboxes, is my understanding, those are gonna be the responsibility of the property owners to take out and put back?
In the eyes of the DOT, the mailboxes are responsibility of the property owners to remove and reinstall.
Okay.
Do we have any trees being impacted by this project?
I'd have to look if there was tree removals.
Kevin, is there a couple between Fourth
There
and
might be a couple,
Third on
but
the
I
north side? I
too
don't
many.
Yeah,
think it's
It'd be the north side.
minimal at most.
Yep.
Well, there's some going on the north side after the sidewalk, but I can't see, I don't know that those would be impacted by the project.
yeah,
There's a few on the north side, but
all right.
I mean, it's gonna be hit or miss, whether you hit some roots or something like that. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything right close to the road, not like on 35.
Okay,
And I guess we'll just tackle that when we get to it.
Yeah,
all right.
and I think Patrick was looking at, providing a bank of mailboxes for those folks
Yeah,
too?
we already have it built,
Okay.
so, I'm just gonna, I was given some information today, on someone to contact up at the post office, so we'll get that put up.
Where are we putting it?
I don't know yet, that's why I gotta talk to them to see what's, cause the post office is gonna.
They're gonna wanna, yeah, okay.
They're gonna want it where they want it, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So are we doing no parking, since I see you here, on both sides as of Monday? No parking on that street, because you might get deliveries coming in on Tuesday, or?
The signage, as Kevin indicated in that hash mark on the drawing, there'll be barricades up where that'll be closed.
Right,
However, we'll probably manipulate something at Fourth
okay,
or Fifth to let people into the apartments, but it'd be in everybody's best advantage to leave the west end and the east end closed tight.
okay. I mean, there are people that will park right in front of Stars, right up to the stop sign. You gonna,
So that's something that that Patrick and I can definitely work with, because it's going to depend on what they're going to need for clearance, you know, on the north side of Wisconsin at Fourth and whatnot. I think it would be a good idea to do no parking on the Stars side, just because if they are going to leave access open, you know, periodically or as needed for access to the apartments, we want to make sure that it's a free flow. I don't think we need to do all of Fourth Street, because that's not going to be a traffic flow. The Public Safety Committee at its last meeting did move forward that the board will take a look at no parking on Summer Street between 4th Street and Galahad, and then all of Galahad to Wisconsin, just because of the potential increased traffic that will be going in both directions, both for the Galahad residents that typically may have gone south to Wisconsin, now will be coming north, as well as all of the 206 and 208 Wisconsin Street apartments will have to come that direction in order to get in and out of their properties. So that's gonna go before the board. There'll be, and I haven't talked to Patrick about this, but there'll be some temporary signage up for no parking by order of police starting next Monday, and then until the board meeting on May 3rd, I think it is, before the board can actually put that into a formal motion to move forward with it. But it's definitely something that we need to do just because of the narrowness of those
Right.
streets in
Well,
that
and
area.
you said you're doing signage from Fourth, on Summers, from Fourth down to Galahad?
Correct.
Okay.
And then all of Galahad from Summers to Wisconsin.
We're anticipating with the place they put their boats in Hudson's gonna be closed till end of, well, about July 4th. So we are anticipating a larger increase of people down here. And they do like to park on Summers sometimes, so.
They have, I think they won't be able to now. And
Okay.
typically, that's no trailer parking anyway.
Right.
So, that, they usually go up beyond, Fourth and onto Summers, east of Fourth Street for
Okay.
some of their trailer parking. Yeah,
All right, thank you.
that's the anticipated, but I hadn't thought of Fourth Street until you were just talking about it, so Patrick and I should probably work on how many or how far we want kind of that opening, and I guess it sounded like you said that Fourth Street may be open for cross-traffic periodically, or? But
If
you,
we're gonna have to leave something there to get them into the apartments. So,
Sure.
I mean, I thought that would be best to stagger them, not only for the apartments, but for the tavern there,
Mm-hmm.
so they can come in and access them parking lots until we actually get into the, I'll call it, the road building or the laying of our utilities
Okay.
there.
and you and I know as very well that the no, or local traffic or no through traffic signs are, people have a hard time reading them, so we'll try to help with as much as we can putting those restrictions into place, but I would agree that if we can keep Sixth and Third as locked down as possible, so that, you know, and I don't know, where is your construction traffic? Are they gonna be coming through on Wisconsin from Sixth, or are you gonna be coming in a different direction? Just because, again, I know that in the past, what's happened is
Try to.
you open up a
keep-
space and,
We'll try to keep 6 closed.
okay,
So everybody that's gonna have to access, they're gonna have to come in off of Fifth, off of Fourth, off of Third, someplace down in there.
okay. So that'll make it easier, because that was our issue on the 35 project, is you open up a space to bring 15 trucks through, and you don't want to keep closing and opening, closing, opening, well, then people take their liberties and try to pass through there, even though they have 5 road closed signs that they passed by. So, I'm hoping this will be less of a stressful year than the 35 project was. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And they're aware of the St. Croix Street project?
That's gonna be going out for bids, but yeah.
Okay, will that be coinciding at all with this project, or after this project?
We're anticipating after.
Okay,
Yep, after when this one's done.
okay, great.
Yep.
Any other questions from anybody, or any more comments from you?
Just the only other thing is we're gonna be working towards, just like what we did for the 35 project, there'll be special assessments. And the only thing that's gonna be assessed is just for the sewer lateral. So from the main to the right-of-way line, and the numbers that we seen last year, that's about $2,500 per service, is what we're anticipating. And based on what your assessment policy is, they would have between 5 to 6 years to pay that back if they choose to. So that first preliminary, kind of the kickoff, the resolution's gonna be brought forth at the next village board meeting to start that process, so.
And are we going to maintain some kind of information up on the website? You know, similar to what we did, here's the project start date and,
I would assume
Yeah.
that Melissa would be on top of that, yeah.
Yep,
okay.
we can definitely do that.
So one of you two are gonna talk to her about that,
Yeah.
please? All right, anything else?
That's all the bullet points I had.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, and you're welcome to stay if you want. We're gonna go on with what we got left. That takes us to item number 5, Riverside Drive North Sanitary Sewer Lift Station Control Panel Replacement, discussion and possible recommendation. On this one, after talking to Patrick, there is some, a sheet in your in our packet that just lists three possible options.
yep.
But there
I
is
received
more to this project that we really want him to bring forward when we get into this in a more serious way. So I'm gonna kind of table that one for now. Item 6, chair update. I don't have anything except welcome to Public Works, Jen Merrill.
Thanks.
We're throwing her right into the fire.
Great.
That takes me to item 7, engineer report. Anything else, Kevin?
I don't have anything.
We talked you out?
Pretty much tonight.
All right, item number 8, director report.
The only thing I got is, we just completed some water training and we're in the middle of wastewater training. So we're trying to get everybody certified and whatnot. And then I also wanted to bring up, Mary McGarren had asked, about two things, but the one thing was the, inoperable, hydrants that were fixed or replaced. I haven't gotten any locations on that yet, so I guess we'll save that for the meeting next Thursday.
Okay. That's it? That takes us to item 9, discussion topics, future agenda updates regarding the WSA. Anything new on WSA? Do we have a meeting set?
Next Thursday.
Okay, so the next WSA, the water service agreement, quarterly meetings. These are a result of a new contract that we've got with the city of Hudson. Well, not the city, well, I guess it is the city. And they have taken over the, how should I say this?
Maintenance.
The maintenance of the mains, where we used to do them, they're now doing them. And so it was decided in that contract to add a quarterly meeting, so we have the opportunity to make sure our communication between us and them is up to speed. And so that's what the quarterly meetings are about, and it's on the agenda, so if we have anything, or he has anything he wants to bring to our attention, it's something we can put on the next quarterly agenda.
Okay.
All right, that brings me to item number 10, discussion Public Works capital equipment, current and 2023 budgeting. Patrick will eventually give us a list of what he's looking at for 2023, and he'll put a priority on, what he wants to spend capital on next year. I think you maybe already have one started, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I'll expand on it and probably in July or something, or June, who knows. Just put something on there so you guys can see it, because we'll start the budget process in August, so that way you guys can look at it.
And once in a while, things come up from us that we want him to throw on his list, for next year, for budgeting purposes. So that's why he keeps a running list going. And I have nothing. I didn't imagine you don't either at this point. All right, that takes us to item 11, future goals and agenda items for the Public Works Committee. The only thing I would have is, again, mentioning that we may have increased traffic down at Ferry Landing. I've asked Patrick to look into figuring out how we can get that road graded. So that's a future agenda item.
And the ARPA funding, that'll be the
And
next.
ARPA funding, I'm not sure if you got an email, but we have ARPA, some funds from the state, or really the federal government, but past the state, and then a certain part is for us that we're going to be spending some money on. Some of it is being used for the Wisconsin Street project, but there's still some left over. So Melissa's asking us to start discussing in our next meeting and prioritizing and what we think the costs are of anything additional that we want to spend ARPA funds on.
What does ARPA stand for?
American Rescue Plan Act.
Okay.
And these were given to all the municipalities. There's funds there. There were very, very specific things that we could use it for, like sewer and water originally. And so that's why we had decided to use a chunk of money for the Wisconsin Street project, our portion of the Wisconsin Street project to be exact. That's an 80-20, right? The DOT
Yeah,
project.
80-20. Yep,
So picking up
split.
our 80%. and taking it out with ARPA funds that was our first thought. The board voted to do that.
Well,
And
aren't we paying 100% of our utilities though?
Sewer and water is
Yeah,
100%,
sewer and
but
water's
anything
100%.
above, like storm sewer, curb, street is 80-20
Yep.
split.
Okay,
So we're paying the entire
The entire-
utility stuff with ARPA.
okay.
Yep.
And so there's money left over, and Melissa wants us to take up at the next meeting, and you and I can talk more about some other ideas. Mary, if you want to talk with Mary, she's got some ideas on other ways to use it. We've had people say we should get pickleball courts, and we should do this and do that. Not sure exactly how it's going to be used, but eventually we'll sit down as a board and see what money's left and see what ideas people have they want to use it for. And the board will prioritize them until that money's gone. And that whole amount of money doesn't come in all at once, right?
It's over
No.
2 periods.
2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over 2 years that we'll get it. So I think in year one, we're pretty much taking out year one with the Wisconsin Street project. So we're really almost looking 2 years for these other projects. You have any future goals or agenda items?
I'm just listening,
Okay.
just listening today.
Well, that takes me to item number 12. We are adjourned at 6:01 PM.